You're still watching the City of Lagos TV show. Welcome to the Commissioners platform, where we usually have one-on-one, very expository special interview with honorable commissioners in Lagos State. And of course, the whole essence is to ascertain, verify, and confirm the major giant strides of these ministries under the able leadership of the commissioners. For us, generally, the dynamics of financial management in state governance requires quite a lot of maturity, strategic intelligence, and of course, proactive policy initiatives of the present government, talking about the Teams Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. But today, we're looking at the Ministry of Finance. This is a strategic ministry that, of course, to a large extent, has all it takes to deliver on the Teams Plus agenda. And of course, the Honorable Commissioner is our guest on the Commissioners platform, talking about Mr. Abayomi Oluyomi. Honorable Commissioner, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Same here.
So first, give us a brief but precise professional and political profile of your distinguished self.
It's my pleasure to be here. I'm very happy for this opportunity. My name is Honorable Abayomi Oluyomi. I'm the Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State. Before I became the Honorable Commissioner of Finance, I was equally the Special Advisor to Mr. Governor on internal audit. That was from 2020 to 2023. So, and then from 2023, I became the Honorable Commissioner for Finance. Well, as far as my background is concerned, let me say it clearly that I've always been in the finance industry. Okay, I'm an investment banker of several years. I have over 30 years of experience in the financial institutions, which cut across, different geographies, locally and globally. I work with some of the international banks that we have in Nigeria. I also work with several local banks. Banks such as Stanbic IBTC, Union Bank, Chartered Bank, Standard Chartered, and several other ones that I've worked with. And of course, some of these different these institutions, I was very, very, hands-on in managing a lot of responsibilities. For instance, my strategic roles in most of these banks was in managing liquidity, management of profitability, and management of solvency of this bank. We know that the backbone of the banking profession is treasury management. So for about 18 years, I worked in treasury management of different banks, just making sure that the banks are safe, and that they are also healthy. So those are the things and as far as my background is concerned, particularly educationally, I'm a finance man. My major is finance. I had my first and second degrees in finance from University of Lagos. I'm a fellow of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. I'm a fellow of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I'm also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. So these are some of the things
You're actually a square peg in a square hole.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, which of the pillars does the Ministry of Finance fall on the Teams Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and to what extent as your ministry's mandate, your vision and mission lift up to the developmental agenda of the state?
This is the way I will put it. They said liquidity is key. It's like the lifeblood. So when you're in control of money, you're in control of everything. Basically, in the whole of the themes agenda spectrum, Ministry of Finance is very critical to all of them, because without money, you can't do much. Particularly in revenue generation, in promoting transparency and professionalism in expenditure. So we're also part of all the gamut of financial management in Lagos State. So we're very critical to every single pillar. Is it from transportation? Is it in infrastructural facilities? Is it in social? Is it in health? Is it in education? Money is key. If you have money, you can do any of this. So as finance ministry, we're in charge of financial management. We're in charge of generating revenues. We're in charge of making sure that Lagos State money is spent transparently and judiciously. So we're very critical to all the themes agenda, basically. So our mission is to make sure that, number one, we assist the governor of Lagos State to deliver on his promises, the democratic dividends for the people. We also ensure that we generate a lot of money in Lagos State.
Let's look at the core fundamental responsibilities of the Ministry of Finance and how effectively have you lived up to expectation to ensure accountability and transparency when you want to achieve a smooth financial administration of the state?
First and foremost, most especially, we formulate fiscal policies, which encompasses everything in the state, be it revenue, be it expenditure. We also make sure we generate revenue for the state. Lagos State is the only state that depends on internally generated revenue. Let me also tell you that the percentage of our internally generated revenue to the total revenue of the state is over 70%. So even the federal transfers that some states depend upon forms a little bit, just a small part of our revenue base. So that is one of the key fundamentals, one of the key objectives of Ministry of Finance, to generate revenue and to come up with different ways of making sure that it happens. And then, of course, after generating the money, like I said, we're also charged with fiscal transparency, professionally and transparently managing the resources of the state, making sure that the citizens of the state have confidence in us. And of course, in doing some of those things, there are several other things, because for you to do it, you also have to make sure that operationally you are efficient. So we also talk about operational efficiency. We also manage risk, be it financial risk or any other risk that you can think about, because we also do a lot of insurance within Ministry of Finance, which is also one of our core functions. We insure all the assets of the state. We also insure the human resources, that is the people working for us and all of that. So these are the major areas of our responsibility in this state.
A city like Lagos, data is very key when it has to do with financial management. And so how have you been able to fit in the dynamics of data to match developmental projects?
Like you say, data is very key. So in Lagos State, it's one of the areas that we have continued to develop. You also realize that Lagos has become the center of ICT in Nigeria. Even in Africa, Lagos has become the center of ICT. So for us, we have a robust database that we still continue to work on. Number one, robust database to be able to capture the number of our payers. Every day we keep on enumerating new taxpayers. We keep on discovering people that are not within the tax net. So that data is very, very important. And we have a whole ministry that is in charge of this data management. Not only data management, they have continued to develop different packages, different applications that will help us to manage, whether in terms of properties in Lagos, in terms of the people, in terms of the taxpayers, in terms of the formal sector, in terms of the informal sector. So we have a robust data management. By virtue of our responsibility, Internal Revenue Service is also part of it. Part of it in the sense that they are one of the people that we also work with. And as a matter of fact, it's like Minister of Finance in charge of the total of Lagos State, and LIRS is also part of that. So we have several other generating agencies in Lagos State. Recently, we launched what we call Lagos Revenue Portal. That Lagos Revenue Portal is supposed to ensure payment optimization, to make sure that we have a one-stop shop where everything you want to do in Lagos, every transaction you want to do in Lagos State can be transparent, is robust. And it is only through that we can make sure that we're able to carry out revenue assurance. Without the database, without a robust, ICT, you cannot, a lot of our revenues will be leaking. So we want to make sure that those revenues don't leak.
So, Honorable Commissioner, since you came on board, I'm sure you can be able to encapsulate very significant, impactful achievements of this ministry since you came into office.
One of the things that we started, which we believe will make us the first subnational to do it, is Lagos Revenue Portal, being implemented by a special advisor in charge of revenue and tax, which is also part of Ministry of Finance, is one achievement. And that is to provide operational backbone that will drive our revenue generation. That is number one. Number two, we are also setting up what we call securitization. What does it mean? Lagos State has a lot of idle assets. So we are saying that these idle assets, we want to pull them together to release the liquidity that we need. We will be the first subnational that will do it. Thirdly, we are also setting up what we mean by Lagos International Financial Center. Lagos International Financial Center, it will be the first financial center in Nigeria. That center in itself is to promote investment, to develop and enhance the capability of Lagos. That will make sure that these investors will try as much as well to put in place what will attract foreign investors. We're trying to make Lagos a destination of choice by developing that Lagos International Financial Center. We're also developing what we call Lagos Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is also a major landmark, which you can say is something that has not been done before. And as I speak to you, we are almost getting to a close of that. And to crown it all, we have started the process of raising the largest subnational bond in Nigeria. We're raising a 200 billion naira bond in the market. So apart from the traditional ways of financing developmental initiatives, we also started looking at other financing decisions, which we call alternative financing decisions. Are very cheap, not only cheap, they're also long-term capital. And they're also very, very unique in the sense that everybody will look and say, wow, in Lagos, we have never raised that amount of bonds. Now, you can also see the kind of financial packaging we have entered into. I'm sure you've heard about Lekki International Airport. There's a financial arrangement that is bringing that in. You have heard about the Purple Line, the same thing. You have heard about the Green Line, the same thing. So these are different financial arrangements that Ministry of Finance is heavily participating in, led by the governor of the state, that we are trying to make sure that by the time all of these things mature, then we can say, yeah, we came, we saw, and we conquered.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Now, we want you to give us a catalog of successful major infrastructural projects and, of course, PPP deals the ministry has embarked upon on behalf of the government. And it will be quite apt if we know the critical sectors and what is the progress report.
Let me say that in Lagos State, we have an office of PPP. PPP office is not within the Ministry of Finance. So, but having said that, I can also point you to some of the areas and sectors that PPP has played major roles in Lagos State. The first one is housing. Most of the housing estates that you see that government is embarking upon are through PPP arrangement. In transportation, we have a lot of PPP arrangement. In education area, even in health, we have a lot of PPP. Every facet of Lagos State, particularly every aspect of team's agenda, we have PPP. Our dream tomorrow is to make sure that the percentage of internally generated revenue to our total Lagos revenue base grows to as high as 90%. In which case, we just depend on the center of about 10% of our funding base. So that whatever happened in the federal will no longer, This was started by the current president, Asiwaju, to make sure that Lagos, without the federal allocation, can stand on its feet. And, Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has continued in that trajectory. That is why we say 70% of our funding today is purely from Lagos State. And where we are going is to have about 90% of that funding being internally generated. By the time all of these things mature, then we can say, yeah, we came, we saw, and we conquered.
Fantastic. Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Abayomi Oluyomi, on the Commissioner's platform. It's been quite expository. Listening to an expert in finance as the Commissioner in Lagos State. So, Honorable Commissioner, the business of financial management in state governance requires sound expertise. So what is the policy thrust of the ministry in the area of sustaining sound corporate governance through pragmatic human capacity development programs for the workforce?
Thank you so much. Our most important resource is human resources, our people. And I can tell you, the civil servants in Lagos are not only deeply experienced, they are well educated. They have knowledge. And I must give kudos to Mr. Governor. First and foremost, to make sure that we deepen the knowledge, the ability, and the capability of the civil servants, Mr. Governor has committed a substantial part of the budget to upskilling them. Number one, every year, the amount of money Mr. Governor spends on seminars, on trainings, and workshops is a lot. We also have what we call mentorship program. I'm sure you've heard about Lateef Jakonde Leadership Academy. These are all in a bid to upskill. In fact, the Lateef Jakonde Leadership Academy is a resource base where we have Some of the best brains in the industry, they go through that like a postgraduate school. We train them in leadership. We also bring them to civil service. And at the end of the day, some of them that are ready to work in civil service, we're able to integrate them into civil service. Apart from that mentoring aspect of it, we also have what we call succession career planning for everybody. So government spends a lot of money in training and in doing a lot of, and we expose our people to a lot of the new thinking, the new things. Is it in science and technology? Is it in environmental information? Is it in any area you can think of? So that strategically, Lagos continues to grow in an upward trajectory. All of these things are being done.
So, Honorable Commissioner, we'd like to find out from you, what is the nature of synergy collaboration with other ministries, local and international financial organizations?
Let me start from the MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies within the state government. And like I said, like Minister of Finance is like a pivot. We sit at the center of everything. So everything revolves around us. So the first and foremost person, our most, the nearest neighbor to us is Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. And Minister of Finance is also integral to the budgeting process. That's why they also carry us along in that budgeting process. We also play the role of an oversight, even though that's the function of the legislature, so that we can work hand in hand. And every other ministries, you also know that whatever their budget is on an annual basis also depends on how much the Minister of Finance can bring to the table. So for you to be able to do that, we also talk with them. We have bilateral relationship with some of our ministries, some of our agencies. And let me be sincere with you, all of them, they go through Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance in Lagos is made up of Ministry of Finance headquarters, Debt Management Office, and the State Treasury Office. So we work together, and that is locally. Globally, Lagos is not gainsaying. It's not a lip service. It's not just talk to say that Lagos is the economic and financial nerve center. Apart from the fact that Lagos State contributes about a third of the GDP of Nigeria, Lagos is what every international organization, every international parties and partners that want to work in Nigeria, they see Lagos first. Because look at it, our rating, the Lagos State rating is AAA, and we are rated globally by Fitch. It's a AAA rating state. And in terms of security, which is friendly to investment, where do you see it most in Nigeria? It's in Lagos State. So we have synergy with a lot of international organizations. African Development Bank, are you talking about Afrexim Bank? Or is it World Bank you're talking about? Or are we talking about Melinda Gates Foundation? Different multilateral agencies, different bilateral agencies. We have synergy with all of them. And let me also say some of these things that, particularly in financial management, one of the things that we also do here, we have what we call deepening our relationship with the financial institutions, locally and globally. The financial institutions are part and parcel of Lagos State. They are major stakeholders in Lagos State. Some of the landmark infrastructure you see in Lagos State were also part financed by them. So we go along with them. We have meetings with them on a monthly basis. We have knowledge sharing, whether locally or internationally, because that relationship management is very, very important. They are our partners, and we treat them as such. We also work with the federal, particularly the regulators, Central Bank of Nigeria, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We work with all of them because we also need them, because there are things that we are doing in Lagos State that will be almost impossible without. For instance, I mentioned the issue of Lagos International Financial Center. Because of the regulatory and the policy framework, which only the sovereign has power to do, we just have to make sure we work. So all of these synergies that we have go in a long way to help Lagos State to get to where we want to be.
You're still watching the Commissioner's platform on the City of Lagos TV show on TV Nigeria. And of course, we've been speaking with the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Bayomi Oluyomi. Moving on, Honorable Commissioner, it is quite key for a ministry like this to possibly have the challenge of dealing with infractions and fraud. So what is that internal mechanism built by the ministry to checkmate any possible infraction or fraud?
That is very interesting because it's part and parcel of not only public sector, but also private sector. The remedies against such, first and foremost, is just to make sure that you're one step ahead. When you look at the Lagos structure, Lagos has a lot of inbuilt mechanism to detect, prevent, and to checkmate fraud. First and foremost, look at our expenditure process. We have procurement process. There is procurement process developed by the World Bank. As a Commissioner of Finance, I'm the chairman of Public Procurement Agency. That Public Procurement Act and the policies were developed in conjunction with World Bank. So it's an international standard. That is one. Secondly, we have an office that is called Office of Internal Audit. Internal audit in the private sector is post-mortem in the sense that fraud will have happened. But in Lagos State, you cannot spend 10 kobo without passing through that office. Before that money is spent, you will pass through that office. So you can see we have both institutional mechanism and we also have operational. Number two, we're talking about the fact that we also have policies for everything we have. Right now, we have policies for debt management that we're developing. We have policy for even the state treasury office. We have policy surrounding the payment. Not only those policies, but we have also computerized our system. Everything we do is digital. So revenue assurance is also key. We have what we call revenue portal to integrate the process so that the process is seamless. We use QR code, we use mobile banking, we use internet banking, we use all sorts of banking systems. So when you see our system, the truth is that no matter what you have developed, even the most foolproof system has its own, has wares. So, and let me now tell you lastly, the human aspect, because humans are the ones that are managing this process. So Mr. Governor has also managed that very well. What did he do? Lagos State civil servants are the highest paid civil servants in Nigeria. So sometimes people engage into some of these sharp practices if they are poorly paid. Mr. Governor's welfare package is unparalleled. In fact, let me be sincere with you, he's like the kindest man I have ever known. He has a large heart, he's a great man, he's a good man. So when you also remunerate your staff, you take care of their welfare, we will continue to improve.
You've always kept on reiterating the support of Mr. Governor, but we want you to describe how has the support been really?
I mean, I can only say, wow. Mr. Governor has been on the ground in Lagos State. He's a private sector person, number one. And then number two, he also has been part of this system. And like I said, the vision is his. We are supporting him. But the kind of support he gives to every MDAs to make sure that he delivers the dividend of democracy is unparalleled. For us at the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Governor has been extremely supportive. You remember that he has a finance background as well. He's worked in different banks. So he has even made my job very, very. Sometimes when we go for global international negotiation, so he brings his clout, he brings his wealth of experience, he brings his capacity and capability to bear on some of the presentations. So when we go for almost all of these things, he gives the presentation. And people recognize it for that. It's very good. So he has supported Ministry of Finance. In fact, I can even say he has supported Ministry of Finance most, really and truly. So any financial options that we want to go through, is the first to jump on it, and is the first to start making calls, is the first to start making arrangements to make sure that this thing, it works. When we bring anything to him, is the first to criticize it, is the first to make sure that he develops it, is the first to make sure that he improves on whatever we have brought to him. Because at the end of the day, when the money comes, people will say they are giving the money to Mr. Governor because it's his money, He has been very, very, very supportive. And one thing that a lot of people need to also understand is that there's only one vision here, or there's only one visionary here. Everything that we do is a vision of only one person, and that is the vision of the Governor, Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. So all of us, we work together to make sure that we rally around and support him and push his vision to fruition and make sure that which he had promised the Lagosians, he will deliver, and is able to deliver it. And I want to also thank him publicly for counting me worthy to be appointed as Commissioner for Finance of Lagos State at this interesting period of time in Nigeria and in Lagos State.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's quite interesting. Honorable Commissioner, what are your future projected plans of the ministry to improve and upgrade seamless, efficient financial system management of the state?
Like I said, we'll continue with what we have started. We'll make sure that this securitization that we started, we complete it. I can tell you that it will be a major landmark and a major achievement of this government. That's number one. We will also continue to strengthen our debt management policies and practices. When people say Lagos State is overborrowed, what is most important is sustainability ratio. Are we able to sustain this and to repay? We will continue to manage our debts in a very prudent and practical way. So that policy will also be completed so that subsequent commissioners have a roadmap already that they are going to follow. And then, of course, we'll keep on enhancing the stakeholders. Our stakeholders that we have, that relationship, will continue to oil it, we continue to manage it better. And then I'll talk about revenue assurance. That revenue assurance will also continue. And then we'll also continue to enhance our payment system every year. Where we are going is to have a payment system that is foolproof, that is robust, that is able to capture everything. We will make sure that we get there. And that Lagos International Financial Center will also make sure that we complete it. When Lagos International Financial Center is done, go and check it. Go and see what will happen. By the time we put all of these things into place, by the time we are leaving, and when we look back, anybody that is coming, they will know that we have charted a path. They will know that we have done the heavy lifting. And all the other small things can easily be done by them.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your coming on the program. Honorable Commissioner, to be honest, you have actually blown our mind. Lagosians are in for a good deal. And so finally, what is your word of assurance and encouragement to Lagosians, all stakeholders, with regards to effective administration of the state's financial resources and, of course, ensuring transparency and accountability?
We are committed to it. We are committed to accountability. We are committed to transparency. We are committed to professionalism. We are committed to integrity, good character in governance. That is our watchword. Then we're also committed to building greater Lagos. What Mr. Governor has said, what he has promised, he will do it. So this greater Lagos that we have started, we will do it. We continue to build greater Lagos for the youth. But of course, at the end of the day, we want to earn the trust of the citizens. By focusing on those key pillars, we want to earn the trust of Lagosians. We want to make life easy for Lagosians. We are committed to making their life easier. In terms of, is it commuting time? Is it in terms of security? Is it in food? Is it in roads? Is it in education? Is it in health? Some of the things we have done in health, you can see for yourself. But to say, to whom much is given, much is expected. So we also want to plead with Lagosians to say, please perform your civic responsibilities. Please pay your tax. Whether it's personal income tax or is your land use tax, please pay your tax. And at the end of the day, everybody will be happy.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Abayomi Oluyomi. It's been a wonderful time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to wish you all the best.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, the revolutionary transformation for a greater Lagos under the Babajide Sanwo-Olu government is very paramount and very evident. Listening to the Honorable Commissioner of Finance speak, it's obvious that there's a very strategic, deliberate effort to transform Lagos. And of course, that makes Lagos keep rising, as the usual saying. And of course, don't forget that money is the lifeblood of Lagos. And so Lagosians must be quite appreciative of the fact that prudency, transparency, and accountability has been the watchwords of this administration to make Lagos a greater city. The City of Lagos TV show will continue in a moment. Thanks for watching.